His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, issued Edict 104 of 2023, appointing a director at the Ministry of Cabinet Affairs, based on a proposal by the Minister of Cabinet Affairs. The edict stipulates the following. Article 1. Emir Mohammed Abdullah Mohammed Sharif should be appointed as the Director of the Prepared and Follow-up Directorate at the Secretariat General of the Cabinet. Under the patronage of the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the National Committee for Supporting the Palestinian People in Gaza held its fourth meeting. His Highness Sheikh Nasser expressed thanks and appreciation to His Majesty the King, the Honorary President of the Royal Humanitarian Foundation, the RHF, for his continuous humanitarian initiatives to provide aid to the people of Gaza and extend a helping hand to those in need. His Highness commended the support the RHF receives from the government, led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He also hailed the committee in unifying efforts to help the Palestinian people in their ordeal, hailing the response of the Bahraini people to the work of the committee. His Highness also praised the committee's initiatives in working to establish development projects for the people of Gaza, including building a school, a residential complex, a field hospital, and treating a number of wounded and cancer patients in Jordanian hospitals. During the meeting, the RHF Secretary-General and head of the committee, Dr. Mustafa Al-Sayed, reviewed the efforts and initiatives implemented by the committee, which included sending 2 relief shipments by air from Bahrain Airport to Al Arish Airport in Egypt, and sending 4 shipments by land in cooperation with the Egyptian Red Crescent, which were delivered to the Palestinian Red Crescent and distributed to the Palestinian people in Gaza. Under the patronage of the First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority, and President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Minister of Education organised the closing ceremony of the 2nd edition of the Khalid bin Hamad Chess Championship for Bahrain schools, in cooperation with the GSA and the Bahrain Chess Federation at the Khalifa City Sports Hall, in the presence of the Minister of Education, Dr. Mohammed Juma, GSA CEO Dr. Abdurrahman Asker, President of Bahrain Chess Club Dr. Khalid Burhan Al-Din Al-Awadi, and a number of ministry officials, sponsors and members of the Federation. His Highness praised the success of the event, which received wide student participation and strong competition among the participants, which reflects the success of the championship and the distinguished organisation by the Ministry of Education in cooperation with the Bahrain Mind Games Federation and the Bahrain Chess Club. His Highness stressed the importance of mental games, specifically chess, in enhancing the mental skills and thinking of students and contributing to highlighting their abilities and potentials in such sports and competitions. His Highness Sheikh Khalid called for continuing to organise and develop the championship to attract a large number of participants. His Highness noted the importance of the championship in discovering promising talents to support the national chess team and represent the Kingdom in foreign events. His Highness expressed appreciation for all the efforts made in organising the event and congratulated the first place winners. The ceremony began with a speech delivered by the Minister of Education, in which he expressed thanks and appreciation to His Highness for patronising the closing ceremony of the championship, which stems from His Highness's keenness to support sports championships that serve the youth in Bahrain. The Minister pointed out that the championship witnessed the participation of over 4,000 students from various schools in Bahrain in its first edition, which was held last year, bringing the number of participants of the 2nd edition to over 5,000 students from various public and private schools. He stressed that the Ministry seeks to make all necessary efforts to further promote this championship and encourage students to participate in it extensively. His Highness Sheikh Khalid honoured the winners of the championship from the various categories and the educational levels. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the Education Minister presented a commemorative gift to His Highness Sheikh Khalid. The Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, the SCIA, held its 11th regular session, chaired by its President Sheikh Abdurrahman bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Khalifa. The Council hailed the firm stances of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister in supporting the Palestinian cause for being the first Arab and Islamic cause, hailing Bahraini people's sentiments and noble stances towards Palestinians. The Council affirmed that achieving security for the Palestinian cause will not be achieved without granting the Palestinian people the legitimate rights by establishing their independent state. The Council stressed the necessity for an immediate and urgent stop to the devastating war that is targeting civilians and innocent people through killing, intimidation and complete siege. The Council hailed the UAE's vital role in supporting noble humanitarian causes and enhancing communication and understanding among all. The Minister of Labour, Jamil Hamidan, headed the Bahraini delegation participating in the 5th Conference of Labour Ministers of the Member States of the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation, held under the theme Innovative Solutions and Digitalisation of Labour and Employment Services. Hamidan said that participation in this conference reflects Bahrain's keenness on strengthening cooperation among Islamic countries in the development of workforce and labour markets and exchange of expertise. The Minister pointed out that Bahrain's delegation shed light on Bahrain's achievements and initiatives to reduce the rate of unemployment and boost human resources development, as well as the strategic plans by the Kingdom to continue regulating the labour market. Organised by the Ministry of Municipality Affairs and Agriculture, the 6th edition of the Bahrain Agriculture Production Show, Marai 2023, is set to open for public from November the 23rd to November the 25th. Making the preparations for the event, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Agriculture, Engineer Wal bin Nasser Al Mubarak, gave us the following statement.
Under the patronage of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, King of Bahrain, may God bless him, the Bahrain Animal Production Exhibition 2023 6th edition will commence tomorrow evening, 22nd of November, and will be open for the public from Thursday 23rd until Saturday 25th of November 2023 between 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The exhibition and 6th edition, considered one of the most important events in the Kingdom of Bahrain, is expected to witness a large audience attendance as witnessed in the previous 5 shows. All preparation for the exhibition have been completed. I would like to take the opportunity to thank His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, for his full support for the Ministry in preparing the exhibition for the 6th time. The exhibition is seen as one of the most prominent in the region for a specialized exhibition and as an ideal destination for investors in the field of food security. I believe that the exhibition will be an important opportunity for those interested in working in the field of food security, in the field of livestock and various types of birds and poultry, because of modern techniques that will be presented in this important forum. It will also be an important marketing platform for sharing experiences and concluding businesses for those working in this field.
The Minister of Transportation and Telecommunications, Mohammed Al-Kabi, participated in a 3rd ICAO conference on aviation and alternative fuels, which is attended by participants from over 190 countries. The Minister affirmed Bahrain's support for the ICAO conference and its goals that aim at sustaining the aviation sector and protecting the environment. He emphasised the conference's role in addressing environment challenges and reducing carbon emissions by providing a platform for exchanging expertise and boosting cooperation between countries. The Minister of Social Development, Osama Al-Asfour, attended the inauguration ceremony of the National Strategy for Childhood 2023 to 2027, which was approved by the Cabinet, with the participation of senior officials. The Minister stressed that the launch of this strategy reflects the commitment of the government, headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to enhance childcare and achieve comprehensive development for this important group of society, and to enable them to grow and develop properly in accordance with their basic rights. He pointed out that Bahrain is considered one of the leading countries in promoting children's rights, and pointed out that the National Childhood Strategy is considered one of the most important initiatives taken by countries that pay great attention to children's affairs. He added that the strategy aims to provide the legislative framework and appropriate environment of policies, legislation, programmes and services that guarantee the survival and development of children. The Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, Amna Al-Rumehi, praised the decision of the Cabinet to approve amending the provisions of the decision regulating housing, which aims to restructure the standards related to the fifth category entitled to housing services and the mechanism for calculating allowances for the monthly income standard in a way that ensures expanding the circle of beneficiaries of housing services. She affirmed that the Ministry has begun taking procedural steps to implement the decision, so that includes the basic salary plus fixed bonuses that extends 100 BD. She also added that the fifth category will witness an expansion in the age group to start from 21 years without a maximum age, and the maximum income has been raised to 800 BD instead of 600. And with this regard to the rental value, it has become 100 BD or a quarter of the income, whichever is less, after it was determined by a fixed value. Jewellery Arabia and Scent Arabia Exhibitions 2023 recorded the biggest numbers in terms of participation and sales. The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Abdullah Fakhru, affirmed that the success will contribute to enhancing the tourism sector of the Kingdom. Customs President Sheikh Ahmed bin Hamad Al Khalifa praised the efforts of the Interior Minister, General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, in taking all the necessary security and customs measures to ensure the success of the exhibitions. The CEO of the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority, Dr. Nasser Kaidi, affirmed that these numbers are in line with the tourism strategy of Bahrain, which focus on enhancing the tourism sector, the GDP, and achieve the aspired goals. The CEO of the Information E-Government Authority, the IGA, Mohammed Akhed, announced the launch of a pilot survey of the 2024 Household Income and Expenditure Survey, covering the period from November the 26th to December the 21st. The survey will target a random sampling of 100 Bahraini and non-Bahraini families across all the Kingdom's governorates. Akhed said that the 2024 survey is being conducted with the follow-ups of the government. Akhed highlighted the periodic survey's role in measuring the living standards of Bahrain citizens and residents and identifying social spending patterns, as well as demographic and economic factors influencing families. The researchers selected by the IGA will conduct the pilot survey by collecting data from 3 electronic forms, which cover items related to households, individual income sources, and expenditure on commodities and services, including a daily record of family expenditure. Bahrain hosted the second meeting of senior officials between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the European External Action Service, co-chaired by Foreign Ministry Under-Secretary for Political Affairs, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, and the Deputy Secretary General and Political Director at the European External Action Service, Enrique Mora. The Under-Secretary stressed Bahrain's keenness under the leadership of His Majesty the King and the directors of the government, headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to consolidate cooperation with the European Union and to achieve security and peace in the world. Dr. Sheikh Abdullah followed up on the developments in Gaza, reviewing international efforts aimed at stopping the war, protecting civilians and delivering relief and humanitarian aid. On the sidelines of the senior officials meeting, the Trade Dialogue and Economic Diversification and Global Agenda working groups held their joint meetings to discuss aspects of cooperation. The Kingdom of Bahrain is one of the leading countries in promoting children's rights through implementing initiatives and drafting supporting legislation. Based on the fact that children are the pillar and bright hope of the future, Bahrain launched the National Strategy for Childhood 2023 to 2027 to improve the conditions of children and provide them with the appropriate environment to obtain all the rights guaranteed by the state, to activate their aspirations for a safe life. The National Strategy for Childhood 2023 to 2027 is based on 4 main pillars, which are the right to health and survival, the right to protection, the right to education, development and capacity building, and the right to participation and non-discrimination. The National Childhood Strategy 2023 to 2027 aims to provide the legislative framework and appropriate environment of policies, legislation, programmes and services that guarantee children's comprehensive and balanced development, to safeguard their best interests and raise the awareness of the family and community on children's issues and the importance of childhood is characteristic and requirements. The President of the Union of Arab Chambers, Chairman of the Bahrain Chamber for Commerce and Industry, the BCCI, Samir Nas, participated in the 3rd Arab-British Economic Summit, which was held in London. BCCI's chairman stressed the importance of achieving stability in the Middle East to ensure economic and social prosperity. He pointed out that the Palestinian people's current situation is horrific, calling on Arab and British business communities to push the governments to carry out their role in calming the situation and finding permanent solutions. Nas said that this year's theme is Sustaining an Emerging Vision, which will highlight the strategic partnership between the United Kingdom and Arab countries, with a focus on how to reshape trade relations between the two sides. He stressed the importance of the summit's agenda, which focused on enhancing trade relations and investment flows in the low-carbon economy, sustainable tourism, e-commerce, franchising and the banking and financial industry, as well as the issue of food and water security. The National Cybersecurity Centre has held the first National Cybersecurity Preparedness exercises at the Royal Police Academy. More in this report.
With the participation of experts and organizations to build national capabilities to protect Bahrain's cyberspace, the National Cybersecurity Centre has held the first National Cybersecurity Preparedness exercises at the Royal Police Academy.
The program invites all specialized people in the field who represent different sectors in the Kingdom of Bahrain to periodically attend the exercise. The objective of this exercise is to measure the ability of organization to identify, detect and respond to security incidents by simulating hypothetical cyber attacks that reflect some potential attacks which may affect the integrity of the cyber system in these organizations.
The CEO of the centre, Sheikh Salman bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, highlighted unprecedented contemporary challenges and cyber in a world interconnected with digital networks. Cyberspace has become an integral part of daily economic and security lives.
We are here in Bahrain and we are organizing, in collaboration with NCC, the National Cyber Drill. And we have nearly 30 teams from different sectors in Bahrain, different organizations from the financial sector, critical infrastructure. And we are simulating a number of attacks, ransomware attacks, phishing attacks. And it's an amazing event. All the teams are participating and they are responding to simulated attacks. And they are challenged with typical incident response situations that they would have in real life.
Holding cyber readiness exercises aims to measure cyber readiness and stimulate virtual attacks in vital institutions and sectors by implementing response procedures, including monitoring, analysis, removal, and then recovery and benefiting from cyber incidents.
In the presence of the National Initiative for Agricultural Development, NIAD Secretary General Sheikh Maram bint Isa Al Khalifa, Jude team, the volunteering team at Bahrain Islamic Bank at BISB, took part in the 3rd phase of Forever Green campaign. Coinciding with World Children's Day, the team planted more than 100 seedlings and distributed more than 50 plants to houses in Samahij, with the participation of 20 children from the Down Syndrome Care Centre. Sheikh Maram praised the bank's efforts to involve its employees and children with Down syndrome in the national afforestation campaign through cooperation between the private and public sectors to implement plans aimed at achieving sustainability and increasing the green area. Bahrain Islamic Bank CEO Yasser Al-Sharifi explained that the bank's participation in Forever Green aims to achieve environmental goals and reduce the volume of carbon emissions to reach zero neutrality by 2060. Gaza's health ministry said 200 patients were evacuated from the Indonesian hospital with the help of the Red Cross just hours after it was hit by deadly Israeli strike, killing 12 people. The health ministry spokesman said the patients were evacuated from the Indonesian hospital in Jabalia and taken by bus to Nasser Hospital in the southern town of Khan Younis. Fears are rising about the continued escalation around the hospital in Gaza, where about 700 people, including medical teams and wounded, are languishing inside the hospital. Meanwhile, 28 premature Palestinian babies evacuated on Sunday from Gaza City's besieged Al-Shifa hospital, which Israeli forces raided last week, have been transported to Egypt for treatment. The Prosthetics and Rehabilitation Centre in Taiz government in Yemen provided various medical services to 374 beneficiaries from the Yemeni people who lost limbs. The centre offered 1,371 services through the month of September, and of the beneficiaries, 69% were male and 31% were female. The majority of the 85% were residents and 14% were displaced persons. The centre provided comprehensive services, including measuring, manufacturing, fitting, delivering and maintaining artificial limbs and prosthetics for 139 patients. Additionally, 235 patients received rehabilitation and physiotherapy services, which included specialised consultations.